Okay, for reference, today is November 3rd, 2022. So these messages will apply to the whole month until the 30th. Okay, so let's start with the reading for November 2022. The card that we have for this month is the Strength card. See? Oh, there we go. Okay. Now, we had this card back in February, so I will check what are the differences between November and February and what are the similarities between each month or both months. Yes. So that we can have a reference point. So like what to look out for, right? Now, I have notes about the Strength card. The Strength card to me is a card of taking control of the way that you think. And it could be like down to the subconscious thoughts, but sometimes they're very surface thoughts that are really controlling the way we manifest or the way that we view things based on those thoughts, right? Like if we have a negative thought about a situation or a person, and then it turns out in a negative way, was that a self-fulfilling prophecy? Or was that truly what was supposed to happen, you know? And when you have control of, what you're thinking of, and when I say control, I don't mean like I'm going to think of this person this way and this situation that way so that it'll turn out the way that I want it to. That is a futile thing to do because everybody has free will and energies have their own way to work out that are outside of your control. So the only thing that you really do have control is noticing the quality of thoughts that you have. And if you have a lot of negative thoughts, you have to go inwards to see where that's coming from. Is that an influence from your family, your community, your friends, what you are consuming through the media? Or is that your intuition trying to alert you? And one of the ways that you can cultivate strength is through meditation practice, and to just notice what thoughts belong to you and what thoughts are just kind of like floating around and trying to get your attention and trying to, bring you down, because there is a difference. Okay, so I had said also about strength that it is about the practice of building inner strength, so that is the quality of your thoughts, and to become aware of them. It is also self-compassion, because when you have self-compassion, that compassion then spills over into other people. What else? Okay, so let's oh yeah, my notes. Okay, so the notes from the book that this deck is from is talking about becoming more patient, overcoming anxiety. So that is, just checking the quality of your thoughts. moving from worriness to trust, inner healing and forgiveness as part of the answer, the strength to face and love ourselves, to accept and heal, and eventually integrate so we can be whole again. So those are all wonderful healing themes for this month. And with the majority of our time for this month being in eclipse season, which you can find an astrologer that can explain it better to you than I can, because I'm not an astrologer. This is it will be a challenging month, but it's also going to be a month where you realize just how far you've come in certain areas of your life. And you might also have you'll also have a marker of like, what else, like if you can overcome this, what else can you overcome? So it is a month to feel very proud of yourself. If you find yourself in a position of noticing how much inner strength you have gained through the challenges of this year. Okay, so let's just see what the rest of the cards are going to say. Let me shuffle because I don't remember doing that before I turn on the camera. Alright, so strength for November 2022. Strength for November 2022. All these cards fall out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'll take it. So we have the Queen of Wands. We have the Three of Swords in reverse. The Page of Cups. And the Emperor in reverse. Okay. So let's talk about the Queen of Wands here. The Queen of Wands is becoming more attractive. Now, when I was looking at the card for the month, as I was preparing, my notes, I did see the word promotion. And with this month being a number 8, it is very possible that some of you will experience a promotion at your in your career. Okay, so the Queen of Wands here is talking about just becoming more attractive and becoming seeing the fruits of your manifestations, because you are no longer needing to chase after things. Things are coming to you. And it is a sign of that inner strength that you have been working on. So if you are not here yet, this is a preview of like the benefit of working on inner strength. Okay, when you notice the quality of your thoughts and you start to choose the thoughts that are beneficial to you, that helps in manifesting what you want. And that is becoming the Queen of Wands. Has nothing to do with being a queen. It has everything to do with using your intuition and your emotions to manifest things to you. So it is the feminine aspect of manifestation, whereas like the king would be the masculine side of manifestation, which is the doing, the talking, the connecting, the, like the action oriented, and the Queen is more like the internal process required to manifest. Okay? Three of Swords in reverse is talking to me about overcoming pains and grief and sadness. And when I see, the Queen and the Three of Cups like this together, I'm seeing, like the side of happiness taking over sadness, right? So, like, it's, even though I have a sense that through the eclipses, we are going to be challenged, right? I see a lot of us stepping up to the challenge and being victorious in the process. And so a lot of the sadness is being kind of like washed away, right? Sadness from the past, disappointments from the past, things that were once hurtful are now kind of just like this thing in the past. You're like, okay, well, it was part of my growth and it was part of a lesson. And I mean, I'm over it, it's like, I'm over it. And the Page of Cups tells me that it is a new emotional beginning. Maybe it is an indication of some people tapping into their creativity, right? Which is like that feminine quality, supported by the Queen of Wands, right? It's that internal want, is that internal drive to be more creative, to be more caring, to be more loving. It is that card that I was talking about, self-compassion, right? When you have compassion for yourself, this cup then overflows to other people. And so it is a benefit not only to you, but to everyone around you. And the Emperor in reverse, I'm just going to say that the Emperor in reverse is the card that I associate with egoic thinking, egoic actions. And I am seeing it in this manner as a warning, as a watch out for your ego, right? And a lot of people read the Strength card as, taking control of your ego and, becoming a better person because now you're not controlled by your ego. And the Emperor in reverse is the kind of individual that doesn't care about others. It just wants to get to where they're going and to conquer, all these cities and all these like goals, and like become the richest person because they get a sense of satisfaction from external sources rather than have it within them already, and know that they are already worthy of whatever they want, so it is that, I guess this would be the challenge, not a warning so much of the challenge is overcoming egoic thinking and thoughts, no, thinking and actions. So that is traditionally for the Strength card as well, right? The wolf, or in the traditional tarot, the lion, is that ego. Okay? Right. So let's see. What is the difference between February of this year and November of this year? What is I said, what is the difference? Okay. The difference is the Wheel of Fortune. Here is the Fortune Fairy. The Knight of Swords. The Two of Cups. And Temperance in reverse. Okay, so the difference is, let's see. So we have, when I look at the Fortune Fairy and the Knight of Swords, I think of like this rushing towards our happiness. And I'll talk about the chakra aspect after I'm done with the reading. But it is like this rushing towards our happiness, right? Now, with the Knight of Swords, we don't want to rush in a way that is going to negatively affect those around us. So that calls to the self-compassion, and it calls to connecting with our inner self in order to create the best path forward towards your happiness. And for some, that happiness is a relationship, or is a good emotional connection with another. Okay. Yeah. So when I look at the Knight of Swords and the Temperance in reverse, I am seeing this like over enthusiasm, over excitement to get to this like happiness, this emotional connection, this, like, it's like, I don't know you, let's get married situation. And it's like, but wait, like, you can't just get married. I mean, you can get married to a stranger, but like, that's gonna create a lot of chaos, right? So it's kind of like that. All right. So I guess one of the differences that I can say between February and November of this year is that it seems like this is going to be a happier month, and maybe even a more romantic month than February, which is weird because we had Valentine's Day in February. And so you would think like that is the biggest expression of emotional energy, but maybe it didn't. Maybe it wasn't so much that. And, some of us have had to wait until November to get it. Okay, so what are the similarities between February of this year and November? So what are the similarities between what are the similarities between February of this year? Okay. Okay, so we have the Blasted Beach, which is the Tower card in reverse, the Page of Swords in reverse, Two of Pentacles, and the Five of Wands, which again is talking about ego. Okay, so there's a situation here that is coming to the forefront about, how do I want to say this? There is something that needs to be destroyed. Okay, and so maybe you had an opportunity in February to let it, let it let it come down. But I've had messages in the last week or two that have shown me that there have been people that have ignored, like the obvious, uh, crumbling in certain areas of their lives, in favor for, like, I'll just work harder. Either I'll work harder to keep it in place, I'll work harder to distract myself from this, like, elephant in the room, um, or I'll work harder so that it doesn't come to an end. And it's like that denial, right? And the Page of Swords in reverse tells me that it's like, I don't even want to look at it. I don't want to look at the details. Like, I don't want to even imagine that this is going to fall down and that this is going to come crumbling down. So I'm not going to look for solutions. I'm not going to look for other possibilities. I'm just going to keep going and hope that everything turns out all right. But the Tower in reverse is actually talking about something coming down, something crumbling, this elephant in the room becoming an actual problem, um, and unavoidable and possibly unexpected, right? So this goes with the Five of Wands and the Emperor in reverse. I'm seeing that this is the result of egoic thinking, of taking egoic actions where you think, I have to get mine before everybody else, or else I won't have any. And that is a scarcity mentality, right? Because if you think things are running out and you think there isn't enough for everyone around, that is not an abundance mindset, right? We are all individual. The light is changing. Okay, I moved a little bit. So, okay. We are all individuals with different wants and desires. So, truly, there is enough for everyone because we don't all want the same things. Although society does tell you this is what you want, this is what you must want. And that's why we have the illusion of scarcity, because it seems like we're all supposed to be going for the same thing. And that completely negates the idea, not the idea, the that completely negates the fact that we are individuals with individual wants. That's why we don't all live in the same house. Some people live in vans, some people live in RVs, some people live in apartment buildings, some people live in homes, some people live in farms. Like, that's why we have all these different things, because we're all individuals. Some people live in cities, some people live in like farm fields, some people live in, like, underground, some people live I don't know, like, there's all these uh no. I was about to say, like, well, some people live underwater, but, like, I don't know if that's any of us. But some scientists are living underwater. Some scientists are living in the Arctic, complete, like, desert. Some people are living in an RV in the middle of the desert with no one around. Like, it just this is what I'm saying. Like, we don't all really want the same things. So there is enough for everyone. Okay. Anything else? Okay, let's see. Anything else? Anything else for November? Oh. I didn't talk about the Two of Pentacles. So the Two of Pentacles is just a card that I think of that means like taking on more than we can realistically handle, but then seeing that we can handle it, right? Though in this deck, it just looks like, you know, the fairy is, you know, has grown these yellow flowers, very beautiful flowers, and she's just looking like, ah, like, you know, two more flowers, like whatever, you know, like it has, in this moment, as I am looking at her face, she just seems kind of bored. And so you may be, not you necessarily, but I'm saying like some people may be noticing that they are putting their time and their effort into things that they don't really care to do. And this goes back to the the message about like rushing towards what you really want to do and what you really love, and noticing that you're spending a lot of time and you're struggling and you're in competition with people to grow things that you're like, I want nothing to do with this. And that can also be the unexpected thing that you haven't wanted to come to terms with. That could be the elephant in the room. Or this could be the realization of somebody that you're working with. And they go like, you know what? I'm leaving. Or I'm out of this job. Or like this, somebody gives like their 2 week notice or something like that. Because they're like, this is not what I want. This is what, you know, there's in the journey, in the spiritual journey, there is realizing, you know, what you put your energy into. And for a lot of people, right, we are we're going with, or we spend a period of of our lives going and chasing and working and stressing and kind of like struggling to get to things that we don't even want at all. And it's because we're told this is what you're supposed to do. These are the markers. The this is the plan, and you're supposed to find like keep your individuality for when you're not dealing with any of that, right? Um, and that can get, you know, that actually is like that suppression of your individuality is um is very harmful on a spiritual level, right? um and it like you do it for long enough and it's going to emotionally affect you, it's going to mentally affect you. And um and sometimes you just have to say like enough is enough, what do I want, you know? Because like you go to a job that you don't like, you're there for 8 if you're lucky, because now a lot of people are working 10, 12 hours a day. not counting commute time. So that's like how many more hours, and for what? What are you creating? What are you spending your time on to then get things that you don't even want to get, things that you're not even going to enjoy, you know? Um, okay, I think I've ranted enough. And the light keeps changing. So I'm going to leave it to here. I am going to add the chakra information, like the expanded information, so like the healing aspect of this month. Um, if you are working with a healer or you want to work with a healer, I am available on the third Saturday of this month. I'm doing a Reiki live on my Instagram, so that'll be my Instagram will be linked at the bottom if you want to find it. And um, and so what I'll say about the chakras this month is that the chakras that I saw reflected that are going to be receiving a lot of the energy this month is going to be the solar plexus, the heart, and the throat. So, you know, um, it's either working through the blocks um, or just like working with those chakras in order to, live your best life. So I will have that information in the blog version of this reading, which will be linked below as well. And I will see you later. Okay. Have a great month. Let me know if you have any questions.